Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. Alright, I just had a heartbreak. I recorded a 30-minute video, and it wasn't recording. Ugh. I got interrupted, and I had to stop it, and then I thought I hit record again. So now I gotta do this all again. Anyway, this is Olivier Coipel, the man. One of my favorite all-time comic book storytellers. I place him in my top 6 working in American comics. I know Olivier is not American, but yeah, he's way up there. He sits comfortably with Travis to me. He's like the extension of Travis. And what I had said in the other video is Coipel comic books actually are one of the few people where I look at the work and it gets me super excited. I love seeing it, and it immediately makes me want to draw, and he makes it look easy. Like, I get all those emotions when I look at his work. It's a rare thing for me, because there's a lot of art that I like a lot, but it doesn't always give me that buzz where I'm just like, oh, damn, I need to pick up a pencil and go, because I want to get to the point where I can draw stuff as cool as this. So this is going to be an amazing video. I've already seen half the art. I actually ended up opening a bunch of Civil War pages that I hadn't gone through in the other video. So the first half of this video will be pretty fresh for me, and then I'll do probably a better narration on the second half, just because I've gone over it already once. So anyway, let's go and do it. All right, I love you all. Let's go. Full screen mode. Oh, sorry, went too far. All right. So you'll notice that Coipel uses blue pencil on his underdrawings, and these are not drawn in Clip Studio or Manga Studio, which is kind of the same thing. But he draws it on the paper, but you'll notice that it's actually quite heavy-handed at times, and sometimes actually makes the originals look very cool. I give him a lot of credit for being so bold with his aggressiveness with it, because myself being a finicky bastard, I would feel weird having that much of an underdrawing left on the page, and I would really be compelled to want it out. But it doesn't bother me at all when I see it on his work. So his women are very attractive. His men and heroes are just amazing. And he has a very distinct look to his stuff. And on top of it, he is very influential. So, as you'll see. So my first exposure to Coipel was him doing a book called Legion or Legion Lost for DC Comics. And he did it for about, I would say, this is very classic. Like, he does this in the Magic Order, and it looks great. Yeah, so he did about a 3 or 4 year run on like books for DC that were really excellently drawn. And from what I understand, at the time he was working in animation, and he would draw pages like on his lunch break and then in his downtime. And he did a big run of Legion. It's honestly, sometimes I grab it out and it's so many comics that it's a little overwhelming to like keep all in my office. And he just got better and better. He went to Marvel probably, I don't know, in the late 90s or early 2000s, and has been there pretty much ever since, although Magic Order is an image book, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you'll notice a lot of texture in his work and wash. Some of that influence definitely comes from Travis. You'll see a lot more Travis pop up in the Thor work as we move into it, but Travis had a huge impact on Coipel, even down to just his sketches and covers. Pretty much once he got really into Travis, it was like there was a heavy dose of it in his work. But his structure is still pretty uniquely Coipel, and it's interesting to me is you'll see people influenced by Coipel, and they generally will draw their people more like him. So it's interesting to watch the influence sort of move through. The girls are cute. That's really good. He keeps it simple. The structure is really strong. I mean, the features are just so locked in and solid, and so these faces read really nice. He's great with clothes too, like cartooning clothes, and then even getting some stuff that's more aggressive. This is a real nice page. This is the way you handle stuff like this. You get in and out. Don't spend too much time on these. I don't know. I wouldn't call this necessarily a pedestrian page. It's funny that he had a hand there and decided not to draw it. I think it was a good call. This is all real nice. But, yeah, some people will go nuts on pages like this. And I guess, you know, it's kind of up to you. But, honestly, if you have a lot of work to do in a timeline, you might as well spend it on the big money pages, meaning, you know, stuff that people are going to ooh and ah on a little bit more. How heavy the blue pencil is. Isn't that crazy? I mean, he really, really works it. It's incredible that he can draw over it, because it can get pretty waxy. Okay, I just like this page. Pretty nuts. She's pretty cool. Lighting on the jacket. It's like he's just hitting little chunks of fabric and not like lighting it all up. And this, he's got like a nice light coming from above, but it's hitting. This piece of fabric is coming out, so this is extending out, and then it tucks in, and then this tucks back out, and that's why it's catching light there. This is all neat. Okay, so here we go. This is the Thor stuff. This stuff is amazing. So this is a beautifully designed cover, and what I had said in the other video was if you zoom out, you'll catch me doing this a lot when I'm looking at art. This still reads very, very clear. You've got this figure with this nice dark shape on him, and it's just no doubt where he wants you to look. He wants you to focus in right here, and he sort of suppresses the urge to look other places by keeping the values more similar, but yeah, this is great. You can, if you're a fan of this, you would probably like Jerome Opeña, and you probably already know about Jerome Opeña, but Opeña definitely over the last like 6 or 7 years has really, really gone kind of hog wild into this sort of rendering thing. So, yeah, between the two, they do some killer work. Coipel's generally a little more understated than Opeña. Opeña definitely tends to draw more. This almost reads like a Magic Order page, but this is Thor. But again, you see how beautiful he works the values and has this just really, really nice lighting on the hammer. And, you know, I had said in the other video, like, it's like he pulls you down to this, he swoops you through. I mean, you can even see it small. Look at the design of it, how nice that is. He's just got these beautiful, strong shapes. And again, he used the black. If you watch that review that I did, I was showing him how it's like just black out what you don't want people to look at and send them the direction you do. You're the boss when you draw. So direct that eye. Tell him where to go. He's directing the eye up here. He directs it here. He directs it here. Directs it here. And what I've noticed is Coipel a lot of times sends you back this way. I've seen it on a few pieces that I actually was talking about the design of it. But yeah, he a lot of times will kind of do this move. This is great. Really, really powerful. It's just, I mean, he didn't even draw him, and it still looks super cool. And this would probably all go to black in the comic. It would read a little bit more like that, probably, colored. But isn't that nice? I'm so bummed I lost that other video. It had some really, really good narration in it. It was a winner. This is a great face. Lighting is coming from a little bit over here. You can see it's casting extra shadows on this side. But, you know, even though the shadows on the nose are sort of pulling that way, but this is just so powerful. Oh, it's so good. This is cool. I like that he moves everyone this way. It's an interesting storytelling beat, but I kind of like it because he's brought you over here and then he moves you back over here. This is really cool. Man, he's so good. Really, really powerful shapes. This is cool. So if you look right here, he's got this right here, the sweep, but this lightning right here pulls you back to these characters. Do you see this, and can you feel this? There's this like almost like U shape that goes like this, but he's swinging you back around this way, and even this, and he does that, and then the circle sends you boom out, across and out and up. What did I talk about in that review? Out and up. But you can break that rule. It's not a rule. There's no rules. You know that. That's the mantra that everyone says. There are no rules. Well, there are and there aren't. Can't just do random stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying. You want to be thoughtful with your choices. But past that, you go nuts. Do what you want. See, and again, you can see this nice swoop. Swoopty. Swoopty. And his weapon is pointing you. What way? Out. Again, I'm just blown away by how much blue pencil is on his pages. It's absolutely nuts. And it's crazy that like, this is what he works over. I can't even imagine. I'd said in another video, I would love to see him do a piece, like a page. Not just a sketch, but I mean like a day in the life of Olivier Coipel doing like a comic book page. It would be fascinating to see. He's so damn good. There's a few interviews with him on YouTube, but they don't really go into the amount of depth that I want. I'm pretty sure he speaks English, but I know a lot of times he doesn't speak English. So I'm not sure how good his English is, but God, it would be amazing to interview him. Someone had mentioned that they would like for me to do interviews on the channel. I've considered it. It's one of those things that would come later. I think that there's enough channels that do interviews and stuff like that I mean, it's like I have to try to come up with something unique here to some extent. And so going the route of that, it's not a bad idea, but we'll get there. I've put my feelers out for a couple of people. I want them to kind of be interesting interviews that are a little like, anyway. This was great. The way that he handles his character is really awesome, and I actually love the position of the chain links. He always puts them in interesting ways, which is something to kind of take note of, is you don't always have to do chain links in sort of super generic patterns. You can sort of juxtapose them, and you know, you just want to kind of think of them as a bit of a flat rectangle, and then just sort of position them, and then draw them as chain links. So not a super hard technique. It just takes a little more effort than the side view that sort of conveniently like seems to stay that way. Chain wouldn't do that, you know. Solid face. His eyes are just placed so perfectly. This arm is killer. And he does the anatomy a little differently than I would, honestly. Like on his arm, the way that he sort of suggests this stuff, I wouldn't do it exactly that way. But he keeps it pretty consistent, and so you know, it works. That's kind of one of the, you know, again, like there's no rule to it. It's just like he draws so well, he can get away with stuff that, you know, that's just his language. It's the way that he sees it. It's the way he does it, and it doesn't matter. Again, really nicely designed page. Just everything is moving you this way. He blasts you back this way, and then this nice dark shape sweeps you back around. This is cool. Circles are always fun, or I mean, some of these are more elliptical shape, but anyway, you know, you can really sort of place them to have this magical kind of movement through your pieces. And then again, he's sweeping you up. This is nice. I like how he handles the sword, the hilt, I guess you call it. He always makes like a real cool highlight on it. This is a great pose. just, I love, like, she's planted so hard. Like, man, she really looks like she's putting some weight on these legs. And then he turns the body, and you get to see kind of her back and her other shoulder. It's really, really cool. And then this is great, too. Man, he's just ready to, like, throw his, whatever he's holding at that moment at her. Is it a hammer? No, I don't know what he has right there. I guess it's a Sith. Sorry, there's someone leaving a message in the living room, and I'm trying to hear what it is. This is great. I love how suggestive this is, and then that beautiful shadow on it really, really makes it look nice. This is cool. This is a great gesture. This is awesome. He hits every checkbox for me, man. It's got energy. It's got beautiful design. It's got the detail. It's open. I can use my imagination when I look at his work. That was another thing I talked about in the other video, is Coipel gives you an opportunity as a reader to participate in his art and imagine this world and this scene that he's drawing. And it's not so literal. And I like that. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily would like that. But for me, I like that sort of diffusion of things. And it's like, man, how crazy this is with, like, how big is the battlefield? You know, what else? What other creatures are out there? What's, you know, going on to the left of this and right? And again, look at how dark the blue pencil is. Isn't that nuts? And actually, look at, you can see the color of it here. It's a very, very dark blue, like a Prussian blue or something. But it is super duper dark compared to like a light cyan, which a lot of blue pencils are. It does sometimes look like he uses two different blue pencils, though. I have noticed that there is the cyan one, which is probably like a copy knot, and then the other could be like a Prismo color. Do you see how that's a different hue of blue than that? And this is awesome. Really, really powerful figure. In another page or two, we're going to see him with his shirt off. And I love the way that he draws this guy's body, because he looks like a dude that, like, takes good care of himself, but, like, definitely, like, knocks back some beers and eats, you know, probably real well, and is still just like a muscle man badass. This is all very, very cool. It's a nice piece. This isn't, he's a little more tapered here, but it's still a very, very nice, like, male figure. But coming up, you'll see, and this is great. Really, really cool. I'm looking forward to the next series that he does. As much as I love his covers, I prefer to see his storytelling pages. And it's not to say that I dislike the covers, but his storytelling stuff to me is just so interesting, and it's so fun to see that that's kind of the sweet spot for me. This is all really nicely done. Excuse me. Yeah, I had allergies for like the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we get like a lot of rain now, and then it grows weeds everywhere, and then the weeds kill me. This is all really cool. I had said in the other video that I actually do wish that he maybe spotted some black in the background. He could have gone black like around these like light sort of like these little thinner rectangles, and maybe had a few more that would get bigger as they would sort of sweep around, and maybe even an indication of like some lights back here with a little bit of black, sort of like his magical lighting that he does. I think it would have made the sky pop more, as funny as that sounds. This just looks unfinished to me, but you know, I'm sure with color it looked fine, and with a trade dress on it and all that. But yeah, I would have liked a little bit more loving on that piece. This is all really cool. Again, I love how he does this. It's really, really cool. Cool rocks being sort of moved. This is really great too. Look at this drawing here with him and this hammer just smashed into his chest. It's incredible. I mean, that just looks so brutal. He really got messed up. He knows it. That is some powerful storytelling. And this is wild. Man. This is so nuts. Look at this. Come on. Who does this? Coipel. That's who. This is all very cool. Super Travesty. I had talked more about the Travis influence chain in the other video, but definitely when Coipel discovered Travis, I think that things changed pretty drastically for him, and he really locked into it. Not even not just on his interiors, but the way that he did con sketches, the way that he does covers, the techniques that he uses. I mean, it was highly, highly influential to his work. Travis really changed the game, man. I will say that again and again, but he is one of those moments that if you were around, it really can't be denied. Nobody put it together the way that he did at that moment, and it was powerful, really powerful. So thank you, Travis, and thank you, Olivier Coipel, for keeping the flame alive. Look at that. Come on, that is so badass. This shit is fire. That is really good. And again, it goes back to the, like, him representing stuff with, like, energy and suggestion and just enough detail to make it really exciting to look at. But, man, that is just cool. This is great, too. Again, that really, really beautiful juxtaposition of the chain links. It's just fun. It's your eye dances across it. This is a great page. Again, you see that chunky torso I was talking about? He's got like a little bit of a belly. It's very, very cool. I love that he does him like that. He looks like a guy that's, you know, maybe like getting into his mid-40s or something. This too. Look at that. You see his torso? Dude's got some heft on him. He could pinch an inch, possibly. But if you pinched it, he'd kick your butt. This was interesting, too. There's like a small figure here punching rocks. I couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, though. You've got these big characters all here. I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be its own little panel. But it's a weird, like, little thing. But, yeah, there's just this tiny figure here that looks like he's punching rocks. But he's not. Yeah, I don't know if like the panel border dropped out or something. But yeah, this is great. These guys look so ferocious. These faces, oh my God. And this is all good. He's planted so solidly, and you didn't even have to draw the legs. This is great. This is cool too. Look at that. Those deep creases here really add the torque of the weight, and then the nice spread of the legs. This is cool. This guy's so crazy looking. Looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. This is cool too. Nice pants. Very, very cool wrinkles. And then the highlights on it all look great. These alien guys are kind of creepy. Oh, and that's it. Okay. All right, you all have a great day. Sorry that, you know, well, you won't even really realize it, but anyway, it's a shame that we lost the other video. But all right, have a great day. I'll be back this afternoon with another video, and who knows, maybe we'll do more Coipel. Maybe we'll do the Magic Order. I'll try to find those pages. All right, have a good one. Bye.